Okay, just a quick little video to go over this little work mat. I requested this because I wanted a bigger mat for soldering than I have. The one I have is about this size right here. And I wanted one to better protect my table when I'm doing soldering and things like that. Because this is a soft pine table and I don't want to rain it, so I wanted something a little bit bigger to put my soldering stuff on and stripping tools, you know, instead of putting them directly on this. And this is going to work. It's more for disassembling cell phones and circuit boards and things like that. It has lots of little places for screws here, and I don't really need those. It'll be okay. I'll keep some stuff in here. It'll be fine, but mostly I really don't need a whole lot of this. I need more of a flat place to place light strips and, you know, things I'm going to solder and clamps and things like that. But it'll be okay for especially for an addition to the one I already have, the smaller one. I can put this off to the side and put stuff on it, and it'll be fine. Or I can even just use it as my main and put the other one off to the side. Anyway. It has more than just one magnet in it. It has a magnet here, a magnet here, a magnet here, and a magnet here. When you turn it over, you can see here are the magnets installed in the silicone itself. They're not very strong, but they're going to hold the screws down so they don't just bounce around. They're not exceptionally strong at all, but they'll be okay. Then you have, of course, the little places for screws and what have you here. And this is, like I said, this is more of a mat for doing small utility work on cell phones and breadboards and things like that than it is for soldering. But it'll work for soldering too. It's silicone. It's heat proof, so heat resistant. It'll be fine. This is for your screwdrivers. And you can put screwdrivers in here. Just slip the little pieces in here, and you can pull them out quickly. Like I said again, that's for small working on small items like cell phones and things like that. Same thing for here. You can put screwdrivers in here, whatever you want. And just, you know, lots of places to put things. This right here is one of the reasons I almost didn't order this, because I thought, well, I don't want this to stick up like this. And then I thought, well, you know, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. I don't know why they put this on here. It's like, what do you want to do? Keep something in here forever? Or you don't want it to, I guess if you want to keep several small screws in here that don't belong to the product or the unit that you're working on, you could pull this open and put them out here and put it back so you don't get them mixed up. I really don't know. Here's the problem with this. This is silicone, and this is one thing I wanted to say. This is very thick silicone right here. It gets thinner over here, of course. They have to make it thinner because there's indentations, but this is really thick. And this right here is not hollow on the other side. This is one big, huge, thick chunk of silicone. You know, then it gets thinner over here. It gets thicker over here, and then thinner here, and thicker here. So it's really thick, but it's also really easy to tear. This isn't going to tear. This isn't going to tear, of course. You know, you're not going to be able to tear that. But for instance, I'm going to do this right now for you. See this? That just comes right off. That's it. And I don't really care because I'm not going to use these little covers anyway. But if you really want these covers, these are just going to tear off. See here? They just pull right off. I'm barely even pulling on them. Doink, they're gone. Same thing for this right here. Since this is really thin right here, this is thin. This is not thin, but the part that connects it to the main part here is thin. And it's not as thin as these were. And it's going to be okay as long as you don't pull on it. But you could just give this a good little tug right here, and it'll peel off all the way down. And of course, this is the part that connects it to the main pad, and you're not going to tear that at all. But this little piece right here could tear off if you just, you know, you held it down right here with this one hand here. You could just zip it right off. This right here, not so much, because you can see it's got this big chunk of silicone on it. Anyway, that's what I have to say about this. It's not a bad pad. Is it worth the money? I don't know. You know, you'd have to figure that out on your own. It's for assembling small things. It's going to be really nice. It has lots of little trays and everything in it. So for me, it'll work. I'm going to use it as a supplementary soldering iron pad, and it should work just fine for that. So I don't have a real problem with that. It's supple. You can fold it up, you know, not really, but you can. You can fold it up like that and store it, or just store it down like this. It would be nice to have, if the magnets they put in here would be a little bit more magnetized, or a little bit stronger would be nice, or just leave them out. You can just put magnets in here yourself. You can just drop in some of those, you know, 1/2-inch neodymium or earth magnets. You can just drop them there and throw stuff on them. You know, that's kind of a gimmick, you know, and I don't really like that. But overall, it's a decent mat. It's thick, and it's going to serve the purpose.